Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time.
Mike DiLisio, bravissimo, sporadically bored, but never pianissimo.
Zee Garcia, voice of the people.
Yo, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, Welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vasel.
So excited! Zee Garcia.
I'm Mike DiLisio. I'm slightly less excited.
You know why I'm so excited?
Why?
Top half of the games.
I forgot. I'm excited.
All right, we want to say with excitement some thank yous to some of our Kickstarter backers. Thank you to the Bale family, or the the Bailey family.
Oh, the
Okay.
Baileys. Oh,
Baileys,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Samuel
yeah.
Carey, JW, German, Nord, Len, and Florian from the Netherlands.
Wow.
Matthew from Slovakia, and Stephen Satin, Abbey Road. Kate, that's spelled differently than you might
Stephen
think.
Satin?
Katie from Fort Worth, Texas. Yeehaw. The Brusso family. Nacho.
Nacho!
Nacho.
Matt Hardman. The Von Wersey family. Nan, Mose. And the puppies. The Campbell family. Ryan, Haley, and Riley. Michael Capel. Alan Holtgravy.
Wait a
Holt
minute.
the gravy.
Wait, is that
thanks.
one word? Holtgravy?
Yes.
Yeah.
BibleBoardGames.com.
That's a good name.
Ivan Diesel.
No, I know
And
that.
Brian Bailey
It's
and the Bailey
Missy
7.
and this Missy's husband, Missy, that she comes to all of our events. Yeah.
Cool.
Their name is Missy Diesel.
I think that's like a gaming name. The Evan Diesel. Yeah, I think. Hey, you know what Nacho reminds me of, Tom? Mm-hmm. One of our awesome plushies that we had in one of our previous crowdfunding campaigns.
Yeah.
Nacho the cat.
Oh, so cute.
He is.
We have a cooler one now.
Cool.
Nacho's out.
Not just that, we got your own Mothman you can get. Back to Dice Hour on Game Founders. There's only 4 days left, including today. Also, thank you, Joshua Haley, for the super chat, and maybe someday we'll do top 10 games on BGA if I ever played it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, our Game Found project, you go check it out. Support the Dice Hour. There's many different ways to do so. Get a shout out like you just heard.
That's right.
Also, hey, we have conventions coming up. Dice Tower East we talked about just yesterday. All kinds of cool things coming there. Cool people coming. And we will also be there besides the cool people.
Oh, I got to go?
Say hi. Yes.
You get to also
All
go.
tiers of coolness allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And but also, in just a month or so, it feels like it's not too far away, Dice Tower West. Fabulous Dice Tower West. That's happening in Las Vegas. You have just a couple weeks to buy tickets, or else you have to buy them at the door where they cost more.
It's not just in Vegas.
No.
It's at the Westgate.
Hello?
You know what I think of when I think of the Westgate?
Elvis.
Elvis
Las
Presley,
Vegas.
baby. Do you want to sleep on the same bed that Elvis slept in? You probably
Yeah,
can't
let's
do that,
assume-
but
let's
you can be
assume.
in the same hotel he stayed at.
There's a big old statue of him in there, too.
There's a statue you can take pictures with, and you can
Yes.
rub the
His room
statue
is there.
for good luck. Of course it's there.
They've kept it up. I've been in it.
And you also can get fried banana and peanut butter sandwiches there.
Yeah, which is what killed him.
Correct.
So
In
if you
his
wanna-
bed.
Yeah. You can stay in the
Recreate.
bed.
Actually, he was in the bath, right? So
He
stay in his
he
bath.
was on the toilet.
Actually, this hotel.
I don't know what
This hotel's
happened.
right off the strip here. It's not on the strip, but it's on the monorail. So it's easy to get there and back if you want to see that stuff. And if you don't, who cares?
Right.
Because we got games for you.
It's a whole lot of stuff. Okay, they have a library of over 4,000 games.
No.
there.
Count 'em.
Can't be right. Can't
including
be right.
the latest and the hottest, including some stuff that's hard to find. So if you're
Yes.
someone who is getting into the hobby, you can't just be looking forward at what's out and what's coming. You got to look back, too. There's a lot of games you bunch of noobs missed. Check them out. They're still good. And this is a great place to do that.
Yes.
All right, so check it out.
Noobs.
Dice Tower West or Dice Tower East.
And
both of those
Cirque
conventions.
du Soleil. There's some good shows
my
there, too,
goodness.
folks. I'm telling you.
Oh, yes.
All right, folks, here we go. We're in the top 50, so we're going to get started.
Sounds like the name of a song. My wife was born the day Elvis died.
My wife was born
Yes, she was born.
the day
Roll number
Elvis
50.
died.
Oh, hell,
My wife was born
was born.
the day Elvis
All right,
died.
People's Choice number 50 has been on the list since 2016. It debuted at 78 and is now 50. Last year was 67. The year before that it was 50. So it's bouncing a bit.
Interesting.
Yes.
But this is one I'm not surprised at all. Mansions of Madness, second edition.
I'm surprised. I'm
I
surprised
keep
this
saying-
is still this high.
We should just say Mansions of Madness at this point, right?
No,
the first
no,
one's
no,
not going to show up
Second
anywhere.
edition. It says it right there.
It's so small, no one can ever tell. Did
Yeah.
they even spell the first one?
no.
You don't have to differentiate the Twilight Imperium. You just say Twilight Imperium.
I bet you, though, somebody somewhere has heard everything great, or they played Mansion of Madness with people and had a great time.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Then they went to one of those old dusty stores that still has the first one,
Yeah.
bought it,
Yeah.
and were pretty mad.
Yes.
That's got to have
Mostly
happened.
because they went to that dusty
Right.
store.
And it must have been priced like $29 too. Cause
No, it's priced above because the store, it went to one of those stores that never lowers the prices. We used to have one in the area. He would never lower prices.
Right, but you got to figure that retail is going to jump over the years, right? So full retail back in the
late
80s.
This was 6 years
1800s.
ago. What are you talking
Back
about?
in the 80s.
Anyway, it's a great game. It's the first
Is this
game
only
that,
6 years old?
well, no, it's
Second one.
17.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is 8
Okay.
years old.
All right.
Yeah, the first one was they replaced it pretty soon. It was only a few years in between.
Yeah.
But this one uses an app very well. And guess what? The app still works. So I know someone was just yelling about, hey,
Yes.
I'm not going to play a game that has an app. And I'm like, but for 8 years, you could have been having fun.
But you know what app just died? R.I.P. The one with the musical cards.
Okay, first of all, it was
Drop
a year
Mix?
ago. Drop Mix.
Yeah, it
Drop
died
Mix?
a while ago. Well,
Yeah,
I just
'cause-
found out yesterday, and I cried.
Yeah, Drop Mix they were giving away at like Kohl's, I believe. Like you bought anything and they gave you a copy of Drop
I know I
Mix.
bought mine at Five Below.
That's what I'm saying.
So
yeah. It's like I'm going to get these.
I got to use it a few times, but then I'm kind of sad it's gone.
Right.
There's possibility that someone can jury rig some sort of thing that can be used with it. I don't know.
Yeah, like a full MIDI keyboard. Yeah, I think you can do that.
I'll
I'd
just
like
sit there,
these
I'll play the
Jordan
music,
almonds,
and
please.
Z press the button. I'm like, all
And
right.
an entire
Oh my
game.
God.
I got to throw a little some of this funk in it. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Anyway, that's your number 50.
My number 50 is a micro game, what we like to call games that have a small amount of cards. It is strictly a card game. It is strictly a solo game. It is Unreliable Wizard, this charming little dungeon crawly solo game that was brought to wide release by Salt and Pepper Games.
list last year.
It's been on my list. Yeah, it's up 3 spots from last year. It's been on my list since it's been released.
Unreliable Wizard.
Yes, it's an Unreliable Wizard. And so
That's very Gloomhaven-esque.
yeah, you're playing as a wizard. I've talked about this before, but you are playing as a wizard and you're traversing across a map, which is made up of either 2 or 3 cards. This one happens to be those kind of light blue, gray cards in the middle. That's the short game. The long game has 3 cards. But you are going to be traversing across terrain that is going to be potentially sapping you of hit points because it's difficult terrain. And you are trying to get to touch points where you can face off against these monsters, which are going to be kind of procedurally generated. And you don't know exactly what you're going to be facing. But along the way, you're picking up. You start with a basic deck of spell cards, so there's some deck building in it.
Okay.
And as you defeat creatures, they're giving you more spells, potentially weapons. You might meet allies along the way that help you be more successful in combat. And the whole point is that you're trying to get from one end of the map to the other so you can face off against the big bad and utilizing any of the allies you've had, buffing up, using the better spells that you have in your spell book. It's a really charming little game with great UI where these cards can be stacked and splayed in such a way. What you're seeing here is not really how the game would look when you're playing it. This is more like a splay out of the components. But when it's actually in play, it's very good about
looks
utilizing.
better?
Yeah, because it utilizes your table space better. Yes, it does. Look, if you don't like the pixel look, you're not going to like it no matter what.
Yeah, jerko.
So I like it. I think it looks great. And it's a very, very charming solo boss battling game.
I'm not going to be
is it?
shamed for not wanting to play a game that's 8-bit.
This did, I want to say, this was the highest funding campaign for Salt and Pepper. This was higher than any of the other, like,
Yeah.
Wait, did Salt and Pepper make that game I just played?
Shh, we don't talk about that. Yes.
What?
Thingstead? Is that from the same company?
Yes.
Yes, that's like their most recent one. Yeah, you've hated
Take us
all,
out to Catch-a-Palooza.
Yeah, you've hated all of the.
You were going to put this on?
This is a solo game. You don't want to catch a palooza it.
That's true. That'd be right.
Yeah, it'd be odd.
Wait, what other games have they made?
Well, they've done Resist and Witchcraft, and
Those I've not played.
Yeah, they've done the Battle of Versailles. They've done.
I've heard good things about that.
That one's good.
They've done a bunch of games now at this point. So
Is it true?
there you go.
All right.
All right, my number 50 was 56 last year, 57 the year before that, so it's always right around here. It's a modern classic. It's from Knizia.
Yellow. You should be marking his
Knizia's
Knizias.
all over my list today. At least
Yes.
6 of these are from Knizia today.
I mark his Katalas.
You haven't been though.
There's 4. I got
Are
it.
we sure you
I
got
got an
it?
email.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 Knizias on this list and no
Yes.
Katalas.
Gorgeous.
First of all, I played a lot of games with you where you lie, so I believe nothing you're saying.
Okay, this is from Katala. No, this is The Quest for El Dorado is my number 50. A
Hello.
fantastic game, a crossover with one of you two,
Not me.
or the other one,
It was the people.
or both.
People.
That's the one. This is wonderful. It is a deck building game.
The first.
The first deck, Knizia invented deck building games, if anybody's confused about that. But he did it after it was already invented elsewhere, and he was unaware of it. So it still counts. He gets points for that. You are going to be buying cards, spending cards to traverse this jungle, obviously, trying to make it to the end of the path and win the race. It's really kind of a race game.
100% a race game, yeah.
The very interesting part of this, my favorite part of it, actually, the racing is great. It's very fun to, take little paths and try to be clever with your card play. But my favorite part is the market in this. In a deck building game, the original deck building game, you put out 10 decks of cards and that's what you could buy. Or in later games, they have the card flop, right?
Yeah,
where it's one single deck and you buy what's available. This one's sort of a combination of those two things a little bit. There's a bunch of decks, but only like 4 or 5 can you buy from.
Right.
And then when one runs out, the next person to buy could buy from any of the outside ones and plug it in, and now it's one of the ones everybody may buy from. So it's this slowly evolving market, and it self-balances, because if the players, or one of the players, I guess, feels like, ooh, we need more canoes or whatever, then that now becomes available to everybody. And I love that. It eases the mental load, but it gives the players what they need. So I really like that idea. So, yeah, my 50, The Quest for El Dorado, finally available with artwork.
Now, there's a couple versions of this. Do you like playing the original one best?
What do you mean, like as opposed to expansions?
Well, no, they're like standalone expansions, aren't they?
There's
at least
Ish.
one.
There's
Yeah.
at least one, yeah. There might be 2, actually.
I really like the expansion that has the caves, I think they're called. It basically lets you like go in this hole and come out of this hole,
Yeah.
like you're off the board.
The
Yeah, I love
Lost
stuff like
Temples,
that.
maybe.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It allows for surprises.
Right.
For somebody to come in from behind and be like, bum, 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 bum. And you're like, oh, you caught up somehow.
Yeah.
You're back in it, and you're a threat again. I really like that.
All right, my number 50 is new to the list.
Ooh.
I honestly, if someone says let's play a co-op game these days, I kind of shy from that. But if you put in one of my favorite themes, like the new, very cool cartoon Invincible, I'm definitely on board. I really love this game. I'll tell you what, Dire Wolf knows how to make a game. That's for sure.
Good-looking
Invincible
game, though? Do they know how to make a good-looking game?
I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks cartoony. I mean, I'm not pretending this game looks amazing.
Where
but
are the pixels?
What about Dune? They made that one, too.
You don't like how Dune looks?
I don't. I think it looks ugly.
Well, I mean, you just showed a really terrible game as your number 50s, and then I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm getting my sweet revenge.
Oh, wow. I'm so offended. You've hurt me to the core. I didn't do the art for this game. I'm not even saying it looks great.
Okay.
Are you dressed to match the cover today, or is that just a coincidence?
Yeah, explain yourself.
I picked the duck tie out first, and then it just all went downhill from there.
Got it, got it.
All right. Anyhow, this is a game in which it's cooperative. You play one of many scenarios, and each scenario can be played over and over. You can. It scales well. I played it at all the player counts. It also scales in difficulty well. You can call, Omni-Man or other people to help you if you need it, or you can make things harder. Like halfway through a mission, you got to go finish, your homework that day.
Oh.
But your character also gets cooler and cooler throughout the game. You're powering up and getting special powers. It involves some very strong teamwork, which I really like in cooperative games. This one is very enjoyable for me. It's a lot of fun. So, Invincible, the hero rolling game, possibly best art I've ever seen in a game.
Imperium? Yeah, really boring board. Super boring board.
All right. 49 for the people. This is the lowest it's ever been. It started at 16 in 2018, and it was 32 last year. So it's slowly dropping, but maybe the new dual version will change everyone's minds. I don't know. This is Azul. At 49. So Azul, of course, when this game came out, this was the kind of big break for Plan B games. We thought at the time that Century Spice Road would be their big break.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing game. But Azul put it to shame when it came to sales. This game has sold, I think 2 million copies. It's really done well.
Wow.
It spawned 5 spin-offs, I think. Yes, including the duel.
Yeah.
Are we counting chocolate?
We are counting chocolate.
Chocolate.
Also, this is one of the few games I know where people will buy a set of pieces for
Yes.
that do nothing.
Yeah.
They're even sometimes just a solid color.
Yeah.
I know that this is going to come off like a stupid joke, because it partly is, but I'm also partly serious. I don't know why they didn't change the Z to a D and just make that the name of the duel game.
A duel?
Yeah. I think that would have been cute.
I guess
I
so.
think some guy said that in a meeting and then they slapped him and kept going.
Maybe. I don't know.
Azul duel rhymes.
I'm only slightly kidding. I think that
It
would
would
have
be
been
cute.
clever, actually.
I don't know if I would go with that, but I could see it being Azul : a duel.
Yeah, like that.
Would you
Something like
would
that.
you add the E to it also?
No, probably
Because
not.
I think some people might not pronounce it right. Then they'll be like Azul,
Yeah.
Adele.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
They'll put some umlauts over it. I mean, you've always got spare umlauts flying around.
I do love umlauts.
Right? I mean, just
One of
get
my
those spare
favorite
umlauts.
dots.
They're usually laying around somewhere.
Anyway,
Or
that's
bendy.
your
Which one's-
49.
Which one's the umlaut?
the double
Yeah, the two
dots,
dots,
over the,
right?
That's
yeah.
an omelet. Azul is your 49.
Yes. My number 49 is a very unique story-driven. Well, I wouldn't say story-driven, but story is a huge part of it. Narrative's a big part of it. It's a cooperative puzzle game that Tom doesn't really like.
How many pixels are in it, would you say?
I think there's several thousand pixels. This is Unsettled. It's down a little bit for me this year, and I think the main reason is that I got so much new content. Yeah, now I'm going to get grief for covers. I'm going to get so much new content.
To me, it looks like a stereo system or something.
Yeah, you don't like the size of the box.
First of
But
all,
it's also
why
very
are you saying
functional.
I don't like it. I think I liked it more than Z did. I still don't
did
like
you?
it. Z did not like it either.
I did not like it
Yeah,
either, no.
You both played it wrong. This
You
is
taught it wrong, then, sucker.
game, you weirdo.
Right, and I can say you played it wrong. So this is an idea where every time you play, you're going to be picking a particular planet, and the idea is that you have been kind of like drop landed on this planet, and you don't know what type of planet it is, what types of things you're going to encounter. It might be a planet that's full of spores that do crazy things.
Planets can have one habitat and one habitat
Correct.
only.
It might be a fungi planet. You don't know what you got. And what you're trying to do is fulfill objectives. And all of that I think is great. And I really think that the action system using those dice that you see, the custom dice, is also very clever in that you're going to have to be using only 2 of the 3 dice, and you have to rest at least once. And so that really creates some tension in what you want to do. And this is you talked about teamwork. This is a very teamwork-dependent game. If you have somebody in the game that decides that they want to go follow the shiny keys somewhere, then yeah, the game's going to fall apart. If you're not going for the objective,
By teamwork, he
then you're going
means
to fall
one
apart.
person tells everyone else what to do. That's not teamwork.
No, by
Ooh.
teamwork, it's 3 people at the table say, yeah, we probably need to do this. One person goes, I want to go do this. All right, well, go get eaten by a mushroom. Have fun. We all lose. It's a very clever game.
This is actually why I don't like it. I I think everything about the game I like,
Yeah.
except that it's just simply too constricting / punishing. The game will be like, there's something cool over there, but you're not allowed to go look at it. That drives me nuts.
You can go look at it.
I agree with Tom. I don't remember if the game did this because I don't remember it that well. But I do hate that idea. Lord of the Rings, the app assistant one did it until they fixed it, apparently.
Right.
It's that idea of, here's a world for you to explore. There's stuff over here. There's a shining light in the distance. There's a treasure chest. You have 2 turns to make it there. That I can't deviate then. That's right. You cannot. If you do, you lose. It's like, what's the point?
I will say I would dislike that too. This does not do that. There's not one solution to the puzzle.
Okay.
There are many different ways you can approach a particular objective and achieve it.
Sure, and joking aside, but
Yeah.
I just felt for me it was too constrictive.
No, and I completely, I get that. And I think for some people,
we're
obviously.
friends, a little.
We are. Yeah, no, I think it's a very unique thing. And the reason why it dropped a bit is that I haven't been able to play any of the new planets.
Is it because the game sucks?
It is not.
It is a
because
pain
it
in the
sucks.
neck to put on the Dice Tower library shelves. Like, where do I put this square box?
This is a very
long
tricky
box?
game to play at a convention, to be honest. But yeah, because it's a little
Should
lengthy.
put
But
an old stereo system in it just to be funny.
sure, why not? The writing is brilliant. It's very sardonic.
I do like the writing.
It's very, very funny. It's very much this we're all going to die, so let's just, kind of see what happens type of a thing. Very, very funny.
All righty. My number 49 is a Reiner Knizia game.
Yes.
It was 86 last year, so it's exploding. It's blowing up. It's a game I learned from Mike DiLisio.
Oh, that's
No.
cool.
And it was actually good. He was like, this game's going to be good, and he did not lie one time.
Wow.
This is a game called Whale Riders.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Nice,
yeah,
nice,
that's
nice.
true. Mike was right about Whale Riders.
You like Whale Riders too,
I
Tom?
do-
Is it in
Whale
your top
Riders,
300?
The board game.
Yeah, the
You
card
like
game
the card
is trendy.
game? You don't like the card
card game
game?
is
The card
horrible.
game is trending right now, says Mike.
Ah.
Whale Riders is a really neat set collection game in which you are going to be buying up items, refilling that location, but whenever you want to on your turn, you can instead move along on your whale. I don't know why you're like a tribe of people who ride whales, but
Because they're
it's
so
cool.
cool.
yeah, because Knizia is about that theme. You move down to the next port, or eventually when you make it all the way down to the bottom of the board, you turn around and come back up. Mm-hmm. And you can choose when you do that. So if you're feeling like you don't want to keep competing where you are, you can just kind of get ahead of the curve and go down to the next location. Now, these places will dry up because as you fill them from the bag, storms come out and the market slowly shuts down. So you can hold back and wait for a little bit more of that to happen for people to move along, and maybe you have, you're picking and no one else is there to fight you. Maybe you want to trek ahead and get some spots earlier. There's this funky sort of timing with it, which I really like and feels interesting. It's never obvious when you should do one thing or the other.
Yeah.
And then you're gathering all these things and trading them in for points or whatever, right?
Yeah, the pearls are points.
Yeah. So it's a neat game. I like that when this came out for Knizia, it felt simpler and sort of was a little more straightforward than some of the other stuff he was coming out with around this time.
This was right at the beginning of the Renaissance, Like before,
That's the thing, Tom. Let it go.
Before he was getting the rightful recognition that he's receiving now. This was one of the earlier games that where people were like, oh, this is kind of like the old Knizia here.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. My 49 Whale Riders.
I can't even. All right,
The
Bob.
Reiner
Bob
songs.
Bovard, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, my number 49 has been on my list for 6 years, was 47 last year, so pretty close to the same spot. This is a fantastic two-player game that unfortunately started a series that went down. The next game was not as good, still good, and the third game was widely considered not very good at all, Dogfight. But this one is Blitzkrieg.
Oh, yeah.
Blitzkrieg, the first in the series, is still the best, from Paolo Mori.
Paolo Mori.
This is World War II in 20 minutes, and they're not kidding. Obviously, they're abstracting it down. It's just a giant tug of war with not great graphic design, but clear graphic design.
I think
so
they're trying to go for a war game look, and they kind of, they do
definitely
achieve that.
I will say that if you don't like war games, you still might like this because it is
Yes.
just a tug of war, push your luck type thing. That's very enjoyable.
This is a very mini kind of feel of Dogs of War, right? That also has
Yes, if you like Dogs of War, you would like
that
this.
that tug of war thing. This
Right,
does
right.
that.
Nobody
same
knows
designer.
that game, to be fair, Dogs of War.
Well,
Well,
it's
shut 'em sit down.
coming out again.
Shut 'em sit down. Have you played Blitzkrieg? You probably should. So that is my 49. $48 for the people has gone up. It came on at 2020 at 106, then 80, 55, 60, 49, and now it's up to 48.
Wow.
And this only surprised me because I don't see it getting played at cons as much.
Is it a big game?
It's a big, heavy game. And this started at a company which has not yet got a game out that's been as widely revered as the original game, and this is Underwater Cities.
Oh, Delicious Games.
Delicious
yeah.
Games has made many games, and many of them have been liked, but Underwater Cities is still their one that
To
people
be
like
clear,
the best.
you said liked, not light, because his games are not light.
Sorry, like it.
yeah, I like it.
Like
yeah.
it. Rakuten.
Underwater Cities is a game. Some people compare it to Terraforming Mars. There's some comparisons. You're
Yeah.
building an underwater city in front of you by using cards.
Yeah.
It's worker placement with your little boats, and then you place a worker, and you're kind of playing cards together in unison. It's an interesting game, very in depth, and like I said, it's still going up. But I just can't remember the last time I saw someone playing this at a con.
Every so often, but you're right. Yeah, it's definitely kind of lost some of its luster. It was huge for
apparently it's gone up.
well, yeah, it was huge for a few years though. This wasn't just big for a year or so.
Well, it's still we're still to the point where people still rush to Delicious booth.
They
at,
do. They
at
want to
Essen.
get the newest Vladimir
They did
game.
what was it? Rafara this year, I think. Mufasa.
Yeah, Mufasa.
Circle of Life.
Yeah. They were holding it like this.
I think it's
The most-
Rafasa.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Rasafa.
Yeah,
and then the
Rasafa, sorry.
Praga Kaput Regni, that never really took off.
Well, I mean, they all get good reviews.
Yeah,
People don't usually say their games are bad.
No.
The Woodcrafters or the
Oh, yeah.
so they have some games, but this one is
Woodcraft.
Woodcraft. This one is clearly the most popular.
I think that's correct. Z has nothing to contribute to
No
this
idea what the heck you guys are talking. I'm trying to figure out, like, those games are not from this company, are they?
Yeah.
Hey, you're
I
not one
thought
of the
it
cool
was-
kids.
Well, Woodcraft actually I think might be from, did Board and Dice do that one?
That's Delicious Games.
It is Delicious. Okay.
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 Huh,
That's
whatever.
one where you make dice, build
Okay.
dice.
I like that game okay. I like the Woodcraft game.
Do you?
I'd never played
lighter
this,
than
but
the-
I-
I mean, Underwater Cities is heavier.
Yeah.
Kutna Praga, whatever.
No, yeah, no, that's a different one. This is Raga Kaput
Pierogi
Regni.
Praga is the heaviest.
That's why I got those confused. I was
They
thinking
are
of Kutna
similar.
Horror because you guys were just talking about the
Yeah.
Kutna Horror game like 2 days ago.
Yeah, no, that's CGE.
That is correct.
The Regni one, I think, is like it's about a city in Poland, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Anyway,
believe.
Yeah, this is your 48.
How interesting.
Yeah, I can tell you're captivated. My number 48. Speaking of captivated, how about a beautiful, beautiful world
the only way people will play your game.
created by a beautiful person, I will say, and without irony at all, and who is kind of a very small team that makes these beautiful, sometimes incredibly large games like Sleeping Gods. I'm talking about Ryan Lockett, Red Raven Games.
I'm going back in time. Did you say Ryan Lockett's beautiful?
He is a beautiful person. Don't
Okay.
you think he's one of the nicest people in board gaming?
I did not
And
say
I
that.
refuse to hear any slander from you, Tom Vasel.
No, I'm not arguing that. I was just clarifying what you said.
He is a beautiful person
That's all I was asking.
and a beautiful mind.
Case
That is
closed.
also true.
Right. No. So this is a huge, epic sandboxy type game. I said when it first came out that it was the closest to, Breath of the Wild that I feel like I've come to. I would, to be fair, this is a filler. I would put Distant Skies ahead of Sleeping Gods, but this is
you
the
didn't.
place.
But
No,
you
this is
didn't.
the place that it lives. You can go with. They're both incredible games. If I'm going to choose one, it's going to be Distant Skies.
Then you
but-
should have put that in the thumbnail.
all right, well, I'll do it next year.
Oh,
but-
he gave a spoiler for next year.
that's right, and it's going to be at the exact same number. This is a.
You'll also forget in about 30 minutes. That
I
he said
know.
that.
This is a narrative game where you are going across this lovely book of maps and you are encountering some interesting, sometimes terrifying creatures, and you're utilizing the benefits and the skills of your crew, and you're trying to manage all of these things while trying to get the story points.
Have you ever done the dungeons?
I did do the dungeons.
They're really fun.
They're very cool, and it's a slightly different take on it, right?
Yeah.
It's a very neat idea. So this is more of a system, even, I would say, because Distant Skies refines it a little bit, but it's the same kind of a feel, maybe a little more on rails, but still pretty sandboxy. Just an incredible achievement by a very small team of people that are clearly passionate and good at what they do.
That's a winner.
Yep.
All right, my number 48 was on some list, the people's list maybe. It was my 34 last year, so it dropped a little bit, but it's just because I haven't played it in a while. This is the wonderful The Veil of Eternity.
Ooh.
And The Veil of Eternity gives me the feel of a trading card game without the wallet pain of a trading card game.
And without the stupidity of a trading card game.
I don't know.
Yes, come at me. Come at me. Open that booster pack. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, man. This is... no, the game features quite a bit of interest in it with the card abilities and, all the interactions between those things. But the game's system is actually incredibly clean.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. There's not a lot of rules overhead here. And I always find it fascinating when a game... I love cards with powers, and this game has that. But when a game manages to have the rules of the game be a few sentences, really.
Yeah.
And then the interest and the variety comes from the cards. This game has that. It really nails that. An economy in it that is very straightforward and clean to manage. The idea that you can only have a certain number of coins or tokens, but the value is set. So I could have, I don't know what it is.
It's 4 coins that go from 1, 3, or 6.
Yeah, there's 1s, 3s, and 6s. You can only ever have 4 coins, though. So if you take like a 1 that takes up 1/4 of your space, but you have a value of 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's such a weird idea, but it works really, really well.
You can't make change or anything
Can't make
like that.
change, right. So anyway, The Veil of Eternity is a great, great game. You should check it out.
Thank you, Carlos, by the way, for the super chat.
Yes, indeed.
But you're wrong about Mike. Okay. My 48 is righting a wrong. A wrong imposed upon us by you.
Oh.
What did I do?
You are
about
the
time.
person who taught me this game, and you're the person who had the gall to drop it from your top 50 to your lower 50. But I brought it back to the top 50.
What did I do?
This is Targi.
He's bringing Targi back.
Oh, no buy.
I'm bringing Targi back.
It was 84 for me last year, so that's really moved up.
So it's moving out.
Wow.
We just switched. Our list might have got mixed up. And,
So you did the whole palindrome thing from
I
84
did.
to 48.
I did.
I love
Oh,
it.
Targi
I like
is
that.
a fantastic worker placement game that every time I'm playing this, I sit there in my head and go, don't put it there, don't put it there. I swear if you put it there, I'm going to be so mad at your
tell you
opponent.
what.
And there's only so many spots they can put it in, but you definitely think about not only where you want to put your worker, but where's your opponent going? And I love that aspect of it. You're getting 3 things, which is fun. 2 workers gives you 3 things. And I'm still kind of mind-boggled that very few games have used this crisscross
It's
worker placement idea.
It's very clever. I mean, it could work in a multiplayer game too, but I think it's especially angsty at 2.
Yeah. To be fair, there's a lot of games lately that do a grid of cards.
Yeah.
A 3x3 especially right now is like blowing up.
It really
This
is.
is not a 3x3. My point being that this feel is now in a lot of games.
That's true.
It's not the same idea with the 2 workers crossing, but it's similar a little bit.
Justify
Heck,
it
this
any way
even
you
feels
want.
this even feels a little bit like that mechanism in the video game Champion, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
Kind of. It's the
Well,
reverse
yeah,
of that.
and the Nova Roma does something kind of like that now
Yeah.
too. Yeah, you're right.
It's all over. Games are lousy with grids.
Targi is passe is the message that we're trying to pass
Pass. It's
along
pronounced
here.
pass.
Targi, fantastic worker placement game. My 48. All right, 47 has been on the list for 6 years and is a game that everyone on Earth enjoys, except
Okay.
for a few people
Camilla's over there.
who had the gall
Wow.
to publicly berate this game.
Are you kidding me? This is
47?
This is 47?
Just one.
This should be higher.
This is incredibly
This is
high.
maybe the best game ever made.
That is amazingly high. Wow.
No, this is
Well, it's a great party
this
game.
really
It
does,
is great,
It works
but
in every situation.
I wouldn't expect the people voting on this, our audience, to rate it this highly.
Well, think about
They're
it, though.
generally dry, desiccated, boring people.
Right. Think about it, though. Probably everyone that voted
Yeah,
has played just one.
I got it.
Everyone that voted did not play whatever garbage game you picked on.
Well,
your last
or like
one.
Underwater Cities.
Right,
That's going to
right,
be
right.
a few people that rated highly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you've taken a game to and taught people before?
I have
and
done
it
that,
fails,
yes.
and it's like a really annoying feeling. It happens to you all the time.
It does.
Also,
That's not how you spell cardamom.
Cardamom is that's a flex play too. I don't appreciate
doesn't
that.
matter. Here's the thing, though: if you take just one, it works.
Right.
It's so
It
satisfying to
does.
take this to people who go, "I don't really play board games," and it works,
Right.
and that makes me like it more because of that.
Right. What does Cadbury have to do with sporty and herbs? You got to put words people know. You got to
Where
put
do you
like
see
very.
Cadbury?
That's what I'm saying. Cardamom. They don't know what it is. They think it's Cadbury. The
How do you
whole
get
game
that?
falls apart.
It's a card from Mom. Anyhow,
Cardi B.
number 47, just one.
All right.
Let's go to your choice.
That is wild.
It is surprising.
I am not. Yeah, I did not expect that.
My 47 is.
was-
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, he said it was 41 last year. 34 the year before that.
I wasn't here last year.
But this is the Camille effect. She made it drop 6 whole spots.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Hardly a board game. Well,
Out of everyone shouting boo, like 2 people were like, well, maybe.
all right. My number 47 is a trick-taking card and dice game that is up a number of
thanks.
spots. Actually, it's up 52 spots. And this is now going to
Wait,
be...
it's up 52 spots.
52 spots.
Is
the
it
all-play
from...
one?
Huh?
Is this the all play one?
Is it an Asian trick-taking game?
It
Should-
began...
Do I even need to
sure.
ask?
It's by... But,
Yeah,
but,
sure. Who else is going to make trick-taking? Americans?
Right.
Get those idiots out of here.
It's so obvious. All great games are designed in Asia.
Americans don't make trick-taking games. Unless they're me. I don't make them. 47 is Nokosu Dice, which is a
Okay.
really, really cool, and this
Sounds
is getting
American.
wider release, thankfully. This is a
People
game.
were dying,
At
literally
Essen.
like
At Essen.
running
Yes.
for this game at Essen.
They would line up-
storming the booth like, do you have some Nokosu Dice? And they were like, no, we sold
is this
out
new to the list?
yesterday.
No,
So it's
it was on the list last year as well. I've actually. This is not a new game.
No.
I played this like 5-6 years ago.
But no joke, of course.
Yes.
Well, you played it before it came out,
No,
remember?
no. It was very similar to this edition. Like it's the same publisher, the same thing. It's
But
just
literally last year, people were running for this, and it's been out for a few years. That's how
Yes.
hard it was to catch.
designers, there
The
were
designer-
all kinds of people that are in that line. I know because I had to stand in line for 2 hours to mule it for somebody. And what did I get for it? Nothing.
What did you want?
I wanted several $1,000s, but I had
From
to
the
settle
publisher
for
of
nothing.
this?
No,
No.
somebody wanted me to bring it back to
He
him from the
muled
States.
something. You never mule anything at it.
Yeah, why would you mule?
Because
You seen the movie?
I don't need to describe how this was brought back. Let's just say it didn't count towards my 50 pounds in luggage.
Just one.
That's your punishment. The person
That was
didn't-
the punishment.
The person didn't give anything for it. He's like, well, that's fine.
That's
Enjoy
correct.
the game.
Let's just say that I wouldn't look anybody at TSA in the eye. Nokosu Dice is a trick-taking game where you've got a hand of cards and colored dice that are in front of you, and those are both part of your hand. So essentially, half of your hand is hidden from the other players, and half is visible because they know what your dice values are. So you can either play a card from your hand or you can play one of your dice. But the die that's left over is going to be determining the number of tricks that you need to have won in that round. So it's a very simple idea, but a really cool twist on a traditional trick-taking game. It's not the most complex. I wouldn't start this with people if they hadn't played one, but it's probably a next step, maybe a little bit more than a next step. So Nokosu Dice, it's got this reputation for a reason. It's a really smooth, elegant, cool twist on trick-taking games. The only one.
Yeah, it has a reputation now, that's for sure.
Oh, my goodness.
If Mike offers to teach this to me, I'll be like, I'm good.
Look, they're shrink wrap.
I'll wait for the reprint, thanks. All right, my number 47 was 71 last year, went up. It is a wonderful game. It is a crossover with Mike. It is a story driven. I don't know how we call it. Story. It's not story. It's story driven. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a story and kind of has a story and nothing else. It's Lands of Gowser.
Nice.
Is that how we're saying it now?
Yes, this is this is a narrative game, and it's almost
No, I'm talking literally. Is that how we're pronouncing the title
Lands
now?
of Gowser is what I'm doing.
There we
I like
go.
you just so confident.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Well, we're determining it, right? I think
I've heard the
Sammy was
designer-
waiting for us. Yeah,
I think I've heard the designer say it like that.
yeah. I'll say.
So I'm going to go with that.
Right.
Anyway, Lands of Gowser is really, really neat.
I see what you did there.
It has a clever, simple system in which you are going to be moving around the board, finding little encounters to have and punching that into your iPad or whatever, and it having a little story it tells you. You make some choices. You have a little fun tale that comes out of it, and you move on. That's kind of it. It's definitely a
TALE, to be clear.
fun tale.
Yeah, it comes out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, not like an appendage.
There are plenty of creatures with appendages in this game.
That's
though.
true.
There are.
They're lousy with appendages. That's a Mike DiLisio line.
This is an appendage-heavy game.
I really like the idea in this one that at the end of a session, you play like 6 in-game days or
Yeah.
whatever. You figure out a winner, or you can play cooperatively even. You can do both. You put the game away, and next time you play, it starts from there.
It's so smart.
It's
It's so
just
easy.
sort of like locations might have changed. You did something in the story where one city has a new option available, whatever. But it starts like that the next time you kick it on,
Yeah.
And it's minor and it's simple. It's not overtly different. It's not a legacy game. Doesn't
No.
even feel like a campaign. But it marks the passage of time in such a clever and soothing way.
It also guarantees your next game won't be a repeat.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It feels like an existing world that goes on
Is there a
even
point
when
that
you've got
you-
the game on the shelf,
Do you
right?
reset it at some point?
You could if you want
You could
to,
if you
but
want,
I don't think
but
you ever
really,
have to.
What it does is like it'll keep track of what season it is, and so when it gets to the winter seasons, you replace cards and with the snow cards.
Yeah, but I'm
and-
saying at some point.
It's
You could
cyclical.
do- yeah,
it's cyclical.
No, but you
cyclical.
would do everything. At some point, I'd be like, I already rescued you from
Yeah, but the amount of hours of content on there, I mean, you'd have to really
Is it
play
unlimited?
a lot. No, it can't be unlimited.
I can't play it then.
All right. Well, it's pretty close to unlimited.
It also uses an app, technically.
It does.
Sort of.
Ooh!
Ah. Although it's also you can just download it.
My number 47 has been on the list for 5 years. I just removed it from the Dice Tower library and took it to my house, which is this is Adventure Tactics. This is Final Fantasy Tactics, the board game.
Okay.
But it also plays really well with kids. But it's sort of a boss battler. You're going through 10 different missions in this game, and then more if you get the expansion, and possibly more depending on paths you choose. You're fighting a bunch of bosses out there, and then you level up, and then
Man,
you
is
level
that
up.
what that
and
looks
you always
like?
level up. The miniatures are from there are miniatures for the game,
Okay.
but yes, you have a big grid that you're running around fighting on. But the thing about it is the cards. You have a starting deck of cards based on your starting class, cleric, fighter, whatever. And as you level up, if I'm cleric, I can go to cleric level 2, and I get some more stuff added to my deck. And then if I can, instead of going to cleric 3, I might do fighter 1.
You can branch.
And then fighter 2, and then if I'm level 2 cleric, level 2 fighter, then I might go to paladin 1 from once I have enough levels.
It's Octopath Traveler, the board game.
Ah.
It's not quite it's again it's closer to Final Fantasy Tactics. Are you trying to make this for the younger audience here?
Yeah, I'm trying to appeal to the kids with
Yeah.
the pixels.
Right. It's like
I'm
if
currently playing
Minecraft.
Octopath Traveler.
It's like if
Octopath
Minecraft
Traveler
and,
2 is what
and
you're playing.
Roblox
Calm
had a
down.
baby, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
better.
it is.
No. OG.
It's actually better for one reason: the battles you can speed them up if you want to. So it
Oh,
makes-
you're one of those Balatro players. I rest my case.
Times 12 animation.
Anyway, my number 47, Adventure Tactics, fantastic game. All right. Number 46 is not, it's been on the list for 7 years now. It was 36 last year. It's not the highest ranked game from Garfield Games. We have not got there yet.
We have Snot.
But this is one of the most played ones, and this is Raiders of the North Sea.
It's a banger. Raiders of the North Sea. Shout out.
Is this one of the ones they remade? This is one of the ones they remade.
No, they have not remade this. They have added. They have 2 expansions for
But
it.
he has made 2 expansions.
And
he
an
has made a big
incredible app.
box. It's an app, and they did remake this one. I don't know what he's
This
talking
is
about.
not the one that
Oh,
sucked.
they didn't. That's
It's
not
called
really.
Raiders of Scythia. That's a remade version of the same game.
Yeah, you're right. And they also did make like a more mass markety version of it, where they.
Oh, did they? I don't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But Raiders of Scythia is Raiders of the North Sea.
It is.
With a different theme.
Yes.
And some minor changes that kind of streamline
It takes a couple of things from the expansion.
And
Yes.
it's better.
Yeah.
It is better.
Probably base
But
to
it's
base.
not better than Raiders of the North Sea with the expansions.
Right.
And I think people tend to like the Micho's, Miko's artwork
No, it's
better.
you were right the first time.
Is it Micho?
Micho, yeah.
Okay. The Micho's artwork better than they like
Sam Phillips.
Sam Phillips' artwork, I think.
Yeah, they're just very different styles, right? I mean,
They look the
they
same
really
to me.
are. I don't
No,
think
Sam
so.
Phillips' artwork, he has
They
that.
look the same to me.
They do not look the same. You are artist blind.
Zee's bridge is being constructed above his head.
Anyway,
as
this
we
is the People's
speak.
Choice 46.
My number 46 is new to the list. Woo!
You can't get it yet. It's not out.
FOMO, y'all.
Tell me about
is,
this small Japanese card game.
I'm going to tell you about this large Euro game from Europe. This is called Unconscious Mind, and it is a really, really intriguing and complex Euro game. With
I love to play this, but I don't have it.
A brilliant, yeah, I know,
Oh.
right? Yeah. Go to your store and find a local box of Unconscious Mind. Then take it home and find out it's empty. This is like I said, a terrific Euro game that has a very cool conceit where you are psychotherapists in the age of Freud, and Freud actually is a figure in this game. And what you are trying to do is you are trying to conduct therapy on patients so that you can remove their traumas and help them to succeed. That's the theme. But what that allows it to do is incorporate 2 of the best board game artists in the world together in one project.
Sam
because
Phillips.
You've got
And El Micho.
you've got you've got Andrew Bosley doing the dreamy stuff, right, which is kind of represented on the top of that box, and Vincent Dutray doing the more realistic, grounded stuff. But that's the theme and that's the art, which is compelling, of course, gorgeous. My favorite cover of last year. But that Euro game is very, very, it's crunchy, right? It's crunchy with a really cool action selection system where you are placing your tokens on nexuses of action spots and choosing one of those spots to point to. So there's some nice interaction there, but not the type of interaction that's going to mess with what you're doing in your own kind of board.
Sure.
So just, yeah, this game is one that first of all, I was looking forward to it for, it seemed like 7 or 8 years.
It was a couple decades.
It was a little late, but it's out now. And
Hyperbolic.
try to find you a copy that has components inside, and you'll have a lovely time. My number 6, Unconscious Mind.
We'll go 46.
How many?
Mike has jumped to the top
I jumped
10.
to next year.
My goodness. A bunch of people are going to be watching like, what are
They
they talking
will know
about?
what we're talking about.
Components. No components
we
inside. What are they
kind of have
talking
to
about?
explain, don't we?
I'm not explaining it.
Someone
It's too
check it out.
painful.
Oh, no, someone took all the insides of Unconscious Minds at one of our conventions.
Yes.
And we have just a box now.
We
Yes.
got robbed.
They returned the
we ever
empty
check
box
Mike's bags?
to the sheet. to
No,
the
it wouldn't
shelf.
have been Mike.
I backed
Somebody robbed us.
Yes.
By us, I mean Tom, really, is this
Correct.
property of this game.
Yes.
They
Did
left
we
the
upgrade it?
box.
They left the box and took everything else. Zee's number 46 is the
I just broke
inside.
down Zee's mood
the
so much.
components of.
It's okay.
We want to know who did it. That's why. I want to go
number-
back to that ship. I want to do a hard target search. I want black lights. Maybe not. I want all
Please
kinds
don't
of
be
stuff.
using black
All right, here we
lights.
go. My number 46.
Thumbs down. All right.
Speaking of black lights, my number 46 has a few versions that have existed because it's been around for a while, but it has one specific version which is one of the most stunning looking games ever.
Okay.
That is King of Tokyo with the Dark Edition.
Okay. Okay.
Being just such a unique vision for a board game. It's not the one I'm choosing here. That one's it's a little esoteric. It's not going to
Yeah.
be for everybody. This one, I dare say, is for everybody. It's going to be a game that's going to have very wide appeal. Obviously, it's not for everybody, but it's close.
Yeah.
You are going to be rolling dice, Yahtzee style. You're going to be attacking the other monsters, trying to move in on your turf, i.e., Tokyo. You are going to be jumping into Tokyo, claiming victory. What do the points in this game represent, you think?
They represent
Is it fear?
The number of millions of selfies with you in the background.
That's cool.
Like, to be honest, if I saw Godzilla in the background, I'd definitely be like, click, click, click. Now let's run.
What?
You gotta.
I guess I would think
I
destruction
would definitely
points
take
is how I would think of it.
Destruction.
Now it's selfie
Fear.
billions. Garfield told me himself.
Stop trying to make selfie billions happen.
Selfie billions is not going to happen. It's a wonderful game. It starts very simply, and as you play more in the session, you are going to be buying cards, building rivalries with the other players, some sort of just fun meta silliness builds around this game. It's just such an accessible system, an idea, and theme, and has such an accessible look. This is one of those excellent evergreen games you can teach really just about anybody. And if they like chucking dice,
Right.
and they don't, they're not completely opposed to kind of being picked on or being, attacked, I think they're going to have a good time. It's so welcoming, so engaging. So
There are so many games that utilize the Yahtzee mechanism, right? And it seems like such an obvious thing to do, but very few games, if any, do it better than this.
Right.
Right? It's like you can explain it so easy because most people get that idea of roll, re-roll again, re-roll again.
pushing your luck is fun in it. Yeah.
But then within that, it's such people just pick it up.
And then it feels good to have that dichotomy of being able to win in two ways. You can race to 20 victory points.
Right.
You can try for that. But if you eliminate every other player at the table by being just the baddest titan of all, then you also win.
Yes.
Now it's like, I don't even need to get points.
Yeah,
then.
you're
If
incentivized.
If you're over there, bleeding out, I could just maybe win that way.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun in a box. It's really great. 46 for me.
All right, my number 46 has been on the list for 6 years. It is one of my favorite party games. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it might be. Nope, it's not. It's still a fantastic game. This is like a step up for me from Dixit, and this is Detective Club.
Oh,
Detective Club uses Dixit cards, and essentially everyone knows a word except for one person, and everyone then plays 2 cards and explains why they played them according to the word that is now revealed. And the person who did not know the word has to explain why they picked their cards, which you think would be easy to find the liar. But in this game, bad liars are a positive because they all look like liars, and you have to guess who the liar was. And
I've never won in this game.
yeah, you're so good.
I can't lie. I must not tell a lie.
Been doing a lot of it on this list. Anyway, it's really fun. And again, if you say, I don't like lying in games, this works really well in that regard. I think even if you're like, I'm not that good, you just explain like the word might be lizard, and you go, well, there's a dragon card that I accidentally played.
Yeah.
I did this because it's a big lizard. Meanwhile, someone's played a plate of spaghetti, and they're like, well, see, here's the deal. I didn't have any good cards in my hand, and lizards like to eat spaghetti, and everyone's like, they're clearly the liar. And you sit there thankfully that they have taken that from you.
Right.
So,
a
my
cute
number
idea.
46.
This is fun. Yeah, I've only played that once or twice, but it's such a neat concept. I got to play this some more. Yeah, and I know.
I think what it kills for me is Spycraft, almost.
Yeah.
Because it's a little more, everyone's playing a card, so everyone plays a card one at a time, and the person who doesn't know sees the cards everyone else is playing, and they play a card too. Then you play the second card, you have more information. You're guessing, but you're not sure. And if you stammer, so is someone else, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Cute.
All right. The People's Choice number 45 is another Viking game.
What?
We just did Raiders of the North Sea, but just beating it out. And also on the list, one more year, 8 years, this has been on the list, is Champions of Midgard.
I figured, yeah.
Which means, they're almost interchangeable. They're very different games.
Very
if you like
different.
Vikings, you probably like both of them, Sam Healy. But
The Raiders is strictly
Isn't
better.
there a 10th anniversary edition or something coming out for this now?
Yes.
I think so.
Oh, you think
kind of-
Raiders is clearly better than Champions?
I do, of course. That's my opinion. Obviously,
Of
the
course.
people disagree.
I like how you was
He
so.
almost said, of course. Yes.
And so, of course,
I do, of course.
In my
course it's
opinion,
better.
of course, because this isn't anywhere near my top 100, and Raiders might be. But the people obviously think it's a little bit better for Champions.
I like it a lot better, but I like both games, so don't get me wrong. They're just very different. Champions and Midgard is more of a, "Arr!" You get a little bit of that in Raiders.
Really? You do get that? What is
In
it?
Champions,
What is it you get?
you get a good feeling.
A good feeling. Ah,
Hooked on good feeling. This is a good game, but I only played the one and only time I played it was with both expansions. So I don't even know what it feels like to play just the base.
worse.
Game. I would imagine. Yeah.
This is a game
Did I
I've
teach it to you?
This is a game I've very much cooled on, but I'm glad it's incredibly popular still.
Yeah, it's still cool. And
Man,
I am
people-
curious about the big box, although I'm scared that it's going to be idiotically big. I don't need
When
a.
something goes big, it tends to go idiotically big.
I'm so
That's
tired of idiotically
interesting.
big
I haven't thought of
boxes.
that because it's really not that much more, but I suppose they could.
All right, so that's your number 45.
My number 45, I think, is going to be a surprise because it's not a game I talk about very often at all, and I don't hype this up.
Chess.
And I do believe that my rating has continually gone up the more I've played it. It is
And we need hints here.
maybe
I'm
one of
very
the
curious.
most unique games, and I think its uniqueness, it is unlike any other game I have in my collection. That's the big thing.
You don't like that weird deduction one, so that's not that one.
I would say that spatial awareness. This is a spatial awareness game at heart. That's the biggest thing.
Spatial awareness. Mm-hmm. Like
Is
you're
it like-
looking at something, trying to figure out what stuff is?
No, you're trying to figure out like distances and where it is depth wise on a board.
Dive?
No, that's a good one though too. Not on my top 100. My number 45 is Redwood.
Oh, yeah. We knew
Okay.
you'd like this
Okay.
game.
I don't. It's not been on my list. It's new to my list.
Oh, really? So,
Yeah.
so after you found out all the flaws, you still like it?
There were production flaws in some of them, but that's since been
No, but you're right.
addressed.
That's not just spatial awareness. This is everything Z hates in a box.
I love that cover. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. That is a stunning cover.
Usually I see anything that resembles a template, and I'm way out. But this game, I think, does it tremendously well. It does not lead to a lot of, at least in my plays, and I played this a lot. It does not lead to like those kind of on the edge things. Kind of is that in the frame or not? It's pretty straightforward whether you're pointing at what you should be pointing at or wanted to point at or not. Okay. The idea is that you are a photographer and you are moving throughout these different regions that are going to have different flora and fauna that's their home region. Sometimes they'll move out of that region, but you know where their home regions are, and you are trying to take photographs of them by using different lenses, which are represented by those different templates. So you might have a long range lens that has a narrow depth of field. So it's a narrow, but it goes further. You may have one that is a wider, but it's a more close framed picture. So you can only get things within the depth of field that the template shows. And it's just really, really clever that you're going through this idea, and there are different, the templates are all on these kind of like, if they're either hanging off a board if you have deluxe, or they're laying on a board if they're the standard. And you cannot pick these up and look at them before. You have to be able to look at them and say, okay, I think that's about the length that I'm looking for this shot. And you're picking two, and you're like, okay, and I think this one too. And then you find out, hey, was I right? Will this get the picture I want? What's nice about it is that sometimes if you don't end up getting the picture you want, you can still get something out of it. Like I was trying to take a picture of that deer, but it's out of my frame.
So I meant to take a picture of this tree.
So
that
I
was in
wanted
my
to take
way.
a picture of this delightful tree and maybe a bunny that's sitting over there, right? It may not fit the bonus you're trying to get for that card you have or what have you, but yeah, this is a really unique game. Nothing else like it in my collection, and that's why I kind of hold it in esteem. The biggest issue I have with it is that it's a pretty short game. It's actually quite short, and the setup is a little long for a game of its length.
Okay.
But I really, really.
But it still has that kind of iffiness.
Oh, no, I am
Well, it has
looking
a
at
little
it
bit,
thinking,
little
like,
bit.
I know I don't want to play this.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I
It's
just
really
don't like measuring in any way, and I know you're saying there's never that imprecision,
Yeah,
but
I
it still
can't think of a
bothers me
time,
to. I just really don't like games with templates. I just
Yeah.
don't, you know.
But the imprecision is there in the sense of I don't know what's going to reach there, and I'm guessing.
You don't, but once you put a template on, you can rotate it any way you want.
Sure.
And all you have to do is have a piece of what you're shooting in that.
Everything you say, especially thematic-wise, I agree with. I
Mm-hmm.
just found that the sum total wasn't that fun.
Okay.
That's what I found.
Fair enough.
All right, my number 45 was also on the people's list at some point. Was my 89 last year. Not sure why it went up so much. Maybe I've just been thinking fondly of it because it is a fantastic Euro game, one that's been on my list for a long time, one that does what it does in an interesting and straightforward way. And I love a good game that is thinking and demanding, and at the end, you don't even need to score. Somebody just like achieves a thing, and boom, you
Yeah,
win.
that's kind of fun.
I like
How to
that.
put it away. This is Istanbul.
Oh.
Istanbul is kind of an economic game, kind of a set collection game a little bit. You're going to be moving around the bazaar here, I guess the city, gathering up resources, buying and selling various things. Gambling is one of the locations. Filling up your cart you are traveling around with, trying to acquire gems. That's the ultimate goal. And if you get a certain number of gems based on the number of players, you win. The first person to do that wins. Game over, put it away. So no need to score. Love that feeling in a game. I can just kind of focus on explaining everything else, and then I'm done. You don't have to go to that phase at the end where you go, okay, so at the end of the game, you're going to get 2 points for this. You add these up and then divide them by 10, and that's the thing. No, you just make it and do it. It's got a few neat expansions, though you definitely do not need to get the expansions. Try out the
Even
game
coffee?
first.
You don't need coffee?
You don't need it. No. I like the expansions. I think
Oh,
they
that
do
wasn't
some
a
neat
joke.
stuff.
No, there's a coffee expansion. It's really good.
Yeah, they're fine. I like them, but this game is superb right out of the box. Really, really enjoy it.
And
So,
I think it's great, too. It's interesting that we kind of, when we describe it, I think of it differently. Like you said, it was like a set collection.
it's an economic game.
Yeah, whereas I don't see it that way at all. I see it as a path-building race game.
Yeah.
And we're both right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a really
Wow.
good
We
game.
all agree. We're both right.
No, it's just I think
We're all
that's,
three right.
That speaks to
Oh, no,
the
you're
to
both
the
wrong.
it speaks to the strength of the design. It's all of those things.
Yeah. And again, it
and it's
feels
easy.
different. You were talking about Redwood feeling
Yeah,
unique.
yeah.
I don't know if this feels unique, but it certainly feels different than a lot of Euro-style games.
Yeah.
It does stuff that a lot of other games don't really do, and they're simple. They're easy
Right.
to explain and straightforward to understand, and give you a feeling of, hey, I'm playing not another copy-paste Euro game. This is its own thing, and it's good. 45, Istanbul. Try it.
All right, my number 45 has been on the list for 20 years.
What? They've had
will
games that
still
long?
be on it many years to come.
Oh.
And this is a game that you can be guaranteed to play with me this coming Dice Tower East. And that
No,
is
it's impossible, Tom.
it's not impossible. It's Pitch Car. Pitch Car
You
World
can-
Championships.
You can't guarantee that to everyone watching. It's not a possible. Mathematically,
If you
it's-
show up on early enough, you get a spot.
yeah, now you're adding parameters
The
now.
parameters were implied.
You're guaranteed to win the lottery
You,
if
too.
you guess the correct number.
If you,
Pitch Car is amazing. It's fun. Every time I teach it, people have a great time.
yeah,
That is true.
And the 3D printing keeps me going with this game.
It does.
Brian, if you're watching this, you promised me some 3D printed stuff at Dice Tower East last year.
Wow.
And then you did not bring it.
Yeah,
oh, wow. Calling
I
people out.
expect it at this
I
year's.
On the top
like
100
that.
If anyone else is a 3D printer and they want to pick up Brian's slack, tell me and I can
Oof.
give you the files.
Oh, you're talking Drake?
I am talking Brian Drake.
Oh, that was your first mistake. You're not getting it. Good luck.
Anyway, I really like
Never
this. There's so
getting
many
it.
cool things to do with it. It's just straightforward around the track is fun. It's just a great game. And that's despite the fact that we forgot the cars last year and we still managed to play.
Wait, how did you
did.
play? Wait,
That's right. Quarters. We just took out a bunch
No,
of
I
quarters.
have a pile of janky cars for the general populace, and then a pile of
Right.
superb, crafted cars
Right.
that can only be touched during tournament play.
He used the cars for the plebes, is what he's saying.
Like junkers? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
Yeah,
Trash cars.
Basically, I was like, here, drive this Ford around the track.
Yeah, basically drive this checker around the track is what he did.
Model T.
He took checkers.
Oh, got it. Model Ts. What?
Anyway, it's my number 45.
All right.
People's Choice 44. This is the fourth year it's been on the list, and it's a crossover with Mike, so we shan't talk about it very much. It's a crossover with me, too, which Mike didn't mention, and when he mentioned this, and that is Sleeping Gods.
It was
Oh,
a crossover
it was
with
on your
you,
list?
Too. That's right.
I mentioned
Everybody
it.
forgot that. I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot it.
Everyone forgot. I can
Ryan
guarantee
Lockett
that.
forgot.
People's Choice 44. This is obviously one of his most popular games. It did very well. And we know that because he immediately made a sequel. He was like, and when he was done with Sleeping Gods, he literally was like, so much work. I don't think I can ever do that again.
I'm
2
doing
years
it again.
later, he did it again.
And
It's
this
amazing.
time, I'm adding music. And this time, I'm doing this.
There's music for the first one.
I know,
I didn't know that though.
Yeah.
And who's the music done? By Ryan Lockett.
No,
Well,
his
I
wife.
think it's Marjorie,
No,
right?
together they did it
Marjorie.
together.
Yeah, they do it together, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so the
Between
couple
the
of them
two
did
of
together.
them and a few people that help them,
Yes.
they do the game design, the artwork, the writing, the music, and production and distribution.
Yeah.
And he juggles.
They're a cottage
And
industry.
according to Mike, he's a runway walker.
He's a beautiful human being.
He's a beautiful man.
I like how you're trying to focus on the aesthetics. That's what I expect from you, Tom Vasel. I'm talking
Clearly.
about he is beautiful inside and out. And there's Brian in the chat. Go home. You get nothing. You say he's getting something from Brian, you're getting nothing. He promised me several $100. I'm still waiting.
That's People's Choice 44, Sleeping Gods.
I'm not sure I can do my 44 until I get my payment.
From who?
Brian Drake.
Oh, okay. How's he
Several
supposed to get it to you
$100.
right now?
Well, there's Venmo exists, Tom. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if magicians aren't aware of Venmo or PayPal or cash. My number 44 is a crossover with Zee Garcia, and
Let's
it's from
go.
this very list.
I know what it is. Is it a Knizia?
My administration refuses to do anything but put Knizia on the list. It is Quest for El Dorado, baby. What a beautiful race game.
Oh, it's good, right?
This is looking bad for you.
A fantastic
know.
implementation of deck building.
Already.
Crap.
Deck building is not my favorite mechanism, and even with this, it's still not my favorite. But I'm not going to belabor. Z mentioned my favorite part of the game
Thank
too,
you.
which was the market system.
Market.
Whoever is going to be buying, if there's an empty spot, they can choose a deck to bring into that spot and go from there. It's brilliant. The idea of the cards being very clear: yellow cards get me through the yellow territory,
Yes.
green cards get me through the green territory, blue gets me through the blue. It's very simple because it allows you to have a visual connection to the cards in your hand, which is really a good thing. So
Mike Heller saying, Z showing me Relic Hunters made me replace this game with that.
Oh, you made a mistake.
Good job,
Wow.
You got got.
Nice.
You got got.
I mean, I'm
Relic
glad I showed
Hunters,
him a game he likes.
It's
but-
a terrific game. I wouldn't replace this with Relic Hunters, but 44, Quest for El Dorado.
But one of them is an Asian game, a little-known Asian game,
No,
Mike.
they're not.
Relic Hunters is.
That's Matthew Dunstan, man. Days of Wonder.
No, that's Relic Runners, right?
Oh, what's Relic Hunters?
The one from the Korean game, I think, with the animals climbing the mountain. And then you have to, bounce back to camp.
No, that's Expedition.
I'm going to say that the new name for that is Relic Hunters. I'm fairly certain that's what that game is called now, actually.
I think you showed him Relic Runners, and
Back
that
me up
replaced
on this, Mike Heller.
What's your 44?
My 44 is a wonderful game from a company that Tom likes very much and often works with. This is a beautiful game that somehow was not on my list last year or the year before. I've liked it for a long time. The only thing I can think of is the new expansion, Expeditions Relic Hunters, same game.
Not even close.
The new expansion to Aquatica, which is my
Oh,
44,
woo.
was a really, really good expansion. Maybe that's what did it. It put
Yeah.
it in my head again. And I like the previous expansion. There was one right before.
Yes.
I liked it. It was fine. The new expansion with the coral,
The cold
stuff,
waters, yeah.
nice. I really
I
like that
think
one.
Aquatica is one of those games that for some reason you don't play it for a while. You're like, I enjoyed that, and then when you play it, you're like, I forgot this
is really
mechanism of
good.
sliding is so
Yeah,
good.
It's good.
You know.
Yeah.
It slides out of my head. I enjoy it very much, though. It's got some fun moving parts in it. It's actually got something I don't generally like in games, which is you can cash in special effects from like 5 different places. They all do the same thing. Like I need coins. Okay, well, for coins, you can discard a card for coins or flip this thing, or you can give up the first player marker and you get a coin, or you can do I don't actually like that idea.
Yeah.
And yet, in this game has that galore. I mean, it's everything. You can slide cards up, you can flip over your man's arrays, you can do all sorts of stuff. It comes together well for me in this one.
Yeah.
It just works well. Love the look. The underwater look is tremendous. The whole thing has a really nice punchy feel to it. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't on my list last year, and it might, again, slide out of my head again next year, but for now, it's my 44.
It's pretty quick, too.
It is quick.
Yeah, I like that.
My 44 has been on the list for 8 years, and this is my favorite Ryan Lockett game.
Oh.
This one is Near and Far.
Yeah, it's a great one.
There you
Near and
go.
Far is fantastic. It is easily my favorite of the series. It's one of the few games that I probably won't play with the expansion. I think the expansion's fine, but it adds too much complexity.
Oh, the mines?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Amber Mines, whatever. It's fine just as is. I also like just randomly opening a book and playing a game at this point. I find that to be pretty fun. It works for most people.
There's so much game in this box.
Really
That's the
is.
thing. It's like
It's
you
like
can
a really good
You can go through the
game.
characters' personal stories.
Yep.
You can go through the campaign. You can just do one-offs.
Yep.
You can do that repeatable mode where their stories aren't really part of it. You just
Right.
kind of quickly go through it.
Yeah, it's great.
But you can play a normal game of this, and I think the game is really solid, and then just kind of have some nice, cool story in the background. You don't have to even get caught up in it as a bigger event. You're like, this Storm King or whatever that idiot's name is.
The Red King?
Yeah.
The Red King,
Or the
Red
Red
King.
whatever? Yeah.
the Red King.
Dude's a jerk.
He is a jerk.
Thanks, jerk.
Ryan Lockett makes good jerks.
He's a good writer. He makes good jerks.
44, Near and Far.
That book.
Not the book. It's from Sesame Street.
It's the book.
But he would in Sesame Street was an actual skit. He would run up to the camera,
Yeah,
near,
Right.
and then he went about really far away.
But they also did a book.
Is this for children?
This is for little
adults.
children.
No, it's children, and it's Grover. See, Grover, before Elmo showed up, before the jerk Elmo showed up,
Right.
I know
Grover
Elmo, the guy
was
who likes
king.
to be tickled, right?
Yeah, Grover was
Grover was Super Grover.
it. It was all about Grover.
Which
Grover
one's
was
Grover?
the best.
Grover's the purple one.
What's he look like?
He looks like Grover.
He looks like a skinny, taller Elmo.
Yeah.
who's purple.
Yeah.
And Elmo is blue?
Elmo's the red
whiny
one.
and introduced children
he's
to
red.
talking
He's the
about
tickle
themselves.
me, the tickle
Yeah,
me
the
Elmo.
tickle me guy. I thought he was blue for a
No,
moment.
no. Blue.
I don't really know Sesame
Cookie
Street
Monster.
very well.
Cookie
oh,
Monster's
yeah. I
blue.
know him. Cookie.
Yeah.
And then he wrecks shop when you
Yes.
give him cookies. It
Yes.
seems he doesn't really consume them as
No.
much as
You might
Crushes
wear them.
He crushes them into his maw. And then you got, Big Bird. You got the Snuffleupagus. It's a whole thing.
All the Gen Xers know Grover's better than Elmo, and
Yeah.
Elmo ruined
It's a
Sesame
whole
Street.
thing.
It's a whole thing.
Grover
Yeah.
doesn't talk about himself in the third person. That's at least.
Elmo does do that.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
You think he would learn after a while? to
Grover
say,
is dark blue.
He has a speech impediment, Elmo.
I'm getting corrected on dark blue versus purple. It's the same color.
Okay. People's Choice 43 has been on the list since the beginning. It debuted at 11.
Okay.
It went as high as 6. It is one of the quintessential gateway games and has had more expansions than most companies produce games.
Dominion.
Carcassonne. Number 43. It was 40 last year.
Yes.
Carcassonne. You know, I'm kind of in the mood to play Carcassonne. I think I want to play either, one of the many variants of it.
Let's
It's
go.
been a bit since I played it. I like it a lot.
Carcassonne was never all that. I mean, I played it a bunch, especially when I was first getting into gaming, and I don't know. It's just
Mike is waiting for them to fix Carcassonne.
I like
What
it
about
when it's.
Carcassonne?
I'm waiting when it gets put into a city,
No,
And
not Carcassonne the city. Carcassonne the castle. Carcassonne the castle.
I'm waiting for when it has castles.
Have you played Carcassonne the castle?
I haven't. I know it's a Knizia game. It's actually very well
There
thought
it is.
of, right?
And he likes that
Did you see
one.
his face light up there?
Knizia?
I thought he did the
What a
city,
beautiful
though.
No,
man.
the city came out after that.
Okay, so the castle's a 2-player only.
Yes.
The Castle's
Yeah.
2-player only.
Right.
The city came out after that.
Okay.
There's also a Leo Colovini edition of it.
No, thank you.
You really shouldn't play that one.
Yeah.
So, 43.
There's also a catapult.
Catapult's fine. Get off the catapult.
I was super into Carcassonne for a good long time. This was my Catan, though. I got into
Okay,
gaming with
okay.
this to a certain degree.
That's your number 43.
All right, Mike, what do you got? What's 43 for you?
43 for me is a game that I think has been on my list from the beginning. It's up 5 spots. It's one of my favorite party games. This is Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Such
man.
a good game. And this is a party game that a lot of times has gone over well with people that don't typically like party games for what I think is a couple of different reasons. It's free form. Yet structured enough that you don't feel lost. Basically, what's
Yeah.
going to happen is that you've got one person that is communicating non-verbally through placing these little wooden bullets on different, you can kind of see it there on the table. But everyone else around the table is going to have 2 sets of cards, the reds and the blues, and they're going to be things that could have been used in a murder, right? And so basically, we're trying to find out who the murderer is, and if what's the investigative, what's the name of the person who gives the clues?
Forensic
investigator.
Think
Yes.
so?
Yeah, if they say that the murder, involved a blunt object, now all the people have anything that could potentially be a blunt object in front of them is the murderer. And so you're like, they got a candlestick. It's like, well, wait a minute. You've got a hammer in front of you. How is
Right.
that not a blunt object?
Right.
And so everyone kind of has this framework, but you can also be free form within it. So if you're the type of person that doesn't feel comfortable using a lot of like creativity, they feel like you're like, I don't know, it puts me on the spot, then you could just really focus on the fundamentals of, I have this, you have that, right?
Yes.
Or you can really go off into the, ether sphere and just really get atmospheric and
The game adjusts to you
Yes.
and to the group,
And to
and you
the
can
group.
kind of take a back seat if you don't feel like being loud,
yes.
and that's okay.
'Cause you can win
And,
that way.
You can win, absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, really solid game that's gone over well. Better for larger player counts, but I think plays well as low as 5. Probably wouldn't go below that. But, yeah, Deception Murder in Hong Kong. Quite good.
That's a great game. And by the way, yes, we mispronounced, I believe, Ryan Lockett's wife's name is Mallory.
Mallory, not Marjorie. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Mallory Lockett,
Yes.
who is also apparently
No problem, Mickey.
incredibly talented also.
She's
I don't
crazy
know what's
talented.
going on
Yeah,
over there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Horde of the Board, for the super chat.
All right, guys, my number 43, right? Yes, was 66 last year, 49 the year before that. So it's around this area always. It's a wonderful drafting game, Euro-style game, a little bit like Seven Wonders. This is Hadara. And Hadara has a great cover, first of all, and then a bad cover that they made later.
This is,
Whoa.
wait,
This is actually the good cover. I know. This is the good of the 2 covers. That's saying something. No, the really neat idea here is that there's this wheel in the center that you are going to be spinning, and everybody drafts cards from whatever section of the wheel is facing them at that moment. And so you're all drafting simultaneously, which is, that's going to happen in a lot of drafting games, but it forces you to draft, like, right now I'm drafting red while you're drafting blue. The thing spins. Now I'm drafting blue and you're drafting yellow, which was coming after that, whatever. So you're doing all of this. You're taking cards. You're paying for cards. You're trying to build up your little tableau, as you see here. Some cards you're keeping and some you're discarding. But then after that, the second half of every round, you are no longer restricted to what's prescribed as your color for drafting. You can take one off the top of any discard pile.
Yep.
And so maybe I could be like, well, I really need to be able to feed my people, so I'm going green because the green cards let you keep other cards. And the yellow ones give you money, and the purple ones give you special abilities, and the blue ones let you build statues. It's a Euro game. But it's incredibly well balanced, and every one deck of cards is, at one point or another, the most important deck of cards, right?
I feel that way, yeah.
It's definitely like, wait, I need more. No, but the yellow, I need to be able to stay competitive. And I love that. I love when everything is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Hadari nails that. Feels good, feels punchy. It's been a while since I've played it. But even just talking about it, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's set this up and play again. I really, really like this. That's my 43.
Hiya.
All right, my number 43 is new to the list, and this is actually an odd one in the sense of this did not make my top 10 of last year when we did the list just a month ago or so. No, but it's moved up
I know.
since
I've
that
got
time.
things like that, too.
It happens.
This is a game that I think might even surpass eventually The Crew for me. It gives me the same feeling, even though they're very different games. And this
Okay.
is Bomb Busters.
Oh, yeah, this game's great.
I don't know what it is. This game just keeps growing on me every time I play. And of those 66 missions, I played like 10. But I played them over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess I could play some of these other
There's
missions.
so much game in that box, right?
It
really is crazy.
that you have a bunch of wires in front of you and you are collectively cutting them. This is a game, I'll call this a Hanabi killer.
Oh, Splendor Killer confirmed.
Oh, snap. Bomb Busters kill drop mix.
No, but it's the reverse Hanabi where you see the
Yes.
stuff instead of other people. But if you like
Like
Hanabi,
every other game, basically. You see your own stuff.
I understand that, but I'm saying this idea of picking something that someone else has. That's what you're doing in this game. Is
I
like
do that in a
Hanabi.
lot of games, Tom. Play that card. You're like, no, it's a trick-taking game. Play that card.
Anyhow, despite Z's rude interruptions, Bomb Busters, it's gone over really well with my family.
And it is good with two players. Somebody's asking. Yes, it's great with two.
Crazy. Yeah,
I
it's
played
really
it on a
good.
cruise. It's one of those games where you don't have to know everybody at the table, too.
That's true.
Which is a little different than The Crew. Again, I still really like The Crew. Could show up on this list somewhere. But Bomb Busters has landed explosively here at 43.
I get it. It's a pun about being a bomb game.
I don't do puns. I'm just speaking clearly.
Fuego.
That out there.
You did it, Mike.
42 has also been on the People's Choice since the very beginning. It debuted at 9 and is now 42, but it was 51 last year, so it's moved up a bit.
Coming back.
This is an older game that if you're ever at a convention, ask me and I will teach it to you.
Uh-oh.
And this
Again,
is
you keep
Race-
saying these
Yeah,
things.
that's right.
Careful.
You've already booked every hour of your life at
No,
these conventions.
I will teach Race for the Galaxy. I love teaching this game to people. Race for the Galaxy, a groundbreaking game that is...
You like teaching race.
I do.
Oh, man.
Oof.
And it's kind of funny because it used to be, we did that list one time, it's like top 10 games I won't play with
I
noobs.
know.
Yeah.
You like teaching it now.
I do
What
because I
happened?
got my pattern down.
Because it means he's playing someone who's never played it before, and he can
Suckers.
just wreck
I'm
them.
we're doing the two-player advanced variant. You're gonna get wrecked.
You want to play red cards. Nothing but red cards.
I'm gonna wreck you.
You know what? I actually do like playing Race for the Galaxy with people who haven't played before. Not because of that reasoning, but because they're not thinking, they're not acting like what you just did.
They
towards
are.
me.
That's true. Yeah, they're not doing...
Oh, you think you're Tom Vasel of internet fame? You're gonna get wrecked.
That's right. Balatro.
Oh, no. Mike.
Your number 42, Race for the
Oh.
Galaxy.
My number 42 is a straight-up abstract game, although it has a really cute theme thrown on top of it. It's probably more a logic puzzle than anything else. It is Mythic Mischief.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I was very careful about my
Wow, this
enunciation.
is pretty high. Was this on your list last year?
Yeah, it's up 8. It's up 8 spots, and that's mostly because I played the new factions. And I think some of those new factions are really, really cool.
You definitely like this the most of all of us.
And by a pretty high magnitude.
I like it, but not like you do.
Yeah, no, this to me is just, it's another one that's unique, right? It's very much a puzzle. And if you're not interested in a very abstract, very puzzly, very head down game, then you need not apply, because that's what it is. What you're essentially trying to do is you're going to be playing a group, whether, it could be ghosts, could be fairies, it could be trolls. There's all kinds of different ones that all have some specific abilities, but everyone has the same base abilities. Like everyone knows how to move, of course, right? But how each one moves is different. Everyone knows how to manipulate the walls or the hedges, depending on which version you're playing. But each one does it differently. And so you're trying to get your opponents in the path of that headmaster, which is that kind of big, dark figure in the middle, that's going to move a predetermined path. He will. He's going to move a predetermined path that everybody knows what that path is. And so you're trying to set it up so that the headmaster is going to run into your opponents, take them off the board, and murder them.
Actually, I would even Ivy Studios always gets annoyed with me when I say that. He's not murdering them. He's putting them in detention.
He's putting them in detention.
But when Ivy Studios date around and you're playing with me,
you're getting murdered. It's like a magic school. Definitely not Hogwarts, but this is a me game for one reason or another.
It isn't Hogwarts because this lets people from all races and species. Hogwarts is humans only.
Oh, okay.
It's very speciesist.
Okay.
Are there in that what?
There's Dobby. No, but like at the school, they're all humans who go to the school.
What about
other types of?
What about Hagrid?
There's Dobby.
He's a human, I guess.
No, I don't think so.
He's half giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't let other races. They don't let the goblins go to Hogwarts.
I guess you're right. I hadn't thought of that.
What about the Sneetches? Can they go?
Isn't that like a flying little golden ball
in the closet?
Right.
I am so confused.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the sparkly vampires?
No, that's Twilight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Right. That was Edward. My number 42 was Mythic Mischief.
My number 42 is
You mixed up Harry Potter and Twilight?
Yeah, it's not the same stuff.
Fantastic.
It's the same stuff. My number 42 is a stone cold classic. It's been around for thousands of years.
It could be. Chess?
It's not chess. It's older than chess.
Go.
Checkers?
It's older than Go.
Mancala?
It's older than that.
The royal game of
Slightly older than that. Liar's Dice.
Yeah, baby. Velcro cones
When the
for
fish
the win.
first crawled onto the land, they said, 6 5s.
I didn't realize
And they were lying.
I didn't realize this was that high on your list.
That's totally true. They were lying at that point. Wait, is this the new version?
Yeah, look at them Velcro cones,
Okay, this was
baby.
okay. I have a bone to pick. I got a bone to pick with Andrew. Andrew, this was my pick, not Mike's pick. He gets plate crap.
Oh, look how beautiful.
I get legitimate
But it's not even the
printings.
plate cover. That's Liar's Dice.
No, that's the plate cover.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
25th century,
They're bringing it over. I said that.
this piece of trash?
That lovely game with
There's
the
just
Velcro
like that. I would love for them to
cones.
put real cups in the box, honestly.
You're lucky that this is not split as a separate entry on BTG.
know.
I give this a 3.
You're so ridiculous.
Anyway, I do like those dice. I got to give it to them. The dice are sweet. Could you maybe get cups and put cups in that box?
If you got like Dixie cups, you could.
The cups that you get for water are better than those.
Well, then
Dang.
get those. If you're so anti-Velcro, Tom, here's what I said.
What did you do in the
If
80s?
you're so anti-Velcro, I hope that every item of clothing you have that has Velcros just revolts on you
First of all, how much Velcro
releases.
clothes do you think I wear? But
Releases.
back in the day, I always wore Velcro shoes.
Yeah.
Until they invented.
The slip-ins.
They invented
the
the
slip-ins.
shoelaces.
No, I'm done with shoelaces for the rest of my life.
The privilege, Tom.
Yes.
To be able to ignore shoelaces.
Anyway,
what
good
are we
job.
talking about anymore?
Velcro cups.
Andrew
Liar's
hijacked
Dice.
this.
Liar's
42.
Dice is a stone cold classic. I agree.
Thank you.
All right. My number 42 is less classic, but it is our first, I think, our first three-way crossover.
What?
It was 27 last year, 45, and this is Dice Throne.
Yeah.
I'm not
nice.
going-
Barely. It was my 100th.
Yeah.
Well, it's still there, and yours
Yeah,
is
it's
also
there.
technically Marvel Dice Throne. I like all the
Technically.
Dice Throne. In particular, I very much like Season 2. But, yeah, there's, my favorite character. Good job, Andrew.
Gunslinger?
Gunslinger is my favorite character in Dice Throne. Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Even amongst all the Marvel and
Well,
all
technically, Iceman will be when he comes out.
Okay.
But yes, this is a great game. It's best two-player. It really is. It's a fast game.
Yeah.
And like Z pointed out, I think there's just a smidge too many rules about order.
Yeah.
And
It gets in its own way just a little bit.
I do not like the adventures
I know you don't, boy.
But I am very much looking forward to the Marvel ones when those come out because of the pre-printed maps and all
Yeah.
that. I think that will be better.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's just cool. When is that coming out? It feels like
2027.
they showed us that in 23. Anyway, yeah, and Santa and Krampus. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of good
that
characters.
one's fun,
It was fun to watch the championship with us at the World Series that one year, but just to see people play on a high level, a game that's lucky, right?
Yeah.
And we
Right.
have several plays of this on the channel over the last few years.
Yeah, it's a lot of
too.
fun. So Dice Throne, my number 42. $41 for the people is the first year this has been on the list. I
Oh.
believe this is the highest new game to the list.
Let's
Really?
go.
But it was 196 last year, and that's because the list came out just after its release, and it takes a while for things to come up. This game has been blowing the doors down.
Sky Team?
Sky Team is correct.
That's a good guess.
That was very good.
I thought maybe Harmonies. Has Harmonies been on there already?
Harmonies came out last year, so this
Yeah.
came out at the end of 23.
The very end.
I expect
yeah.
Harmonies to be on this list at some
I do
point
too.
next year.
I mean,
it's
I-
been getting a lot
I
of
don't
love.
quite
But
get
Sky Team is just really, really knocking
It's
them down.
cool. I mean,
People
it's
are
just
really
a
liking
cool
this one.
game.
Yeah.
It really is.
Good
Scorpion
stuff.
Mask knows how to pick games that people buy. That's for sure. Their games get sold very well. This one did well. The expansion came out, which you liked.
Yeah. Expansion's
So
good.
a lot of cool stuff here. So that is your number 41, Sky Team.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think that one's going to be around for a while, too. And my number 41 to close out this section of the list is a tactical minis game that is done by Martin Wallace. This is Wildlands. It's been on my list every single year. It's down 13 points this year,
What about the other one? Why Wildlands and not Doom? Not Doom. Judge Dredd.
I don't have as much connection with Judge Dredd, quite honestly,
As you do with Wildlands.
as I do with generic fantasy.
There it is.
I am the law.
Yeah. No, look, if here's the main reason why I would pick this over that is that this has a bunch of cool new maps and expansions
You're right.
that they don't have for the Judge Dredd version.
And I don't think they're very They don't cross over at all.
they
do
don't. No. So Wildlands, I said, is a tactical minis type of a game, but you're going to be playing cards to do your actions, moving around the map, punching, attacking, things along those lines to collect crystals. And it's like a race to the number of crystals. I think it's 5 crystals you'll win. And what is very cool about this game is at the beginning, you're getting a set of cards, and half of those cards are going to be spawn points where your characters are going to spawn out on the board. And so you can try to set it up so that you are having characters that can spawn up right next to a crystal. Your opponent's going for that crystal. At the beginning of your turn, you have to reveal one of your characters. And maybe you reveal one right next to that crystal, and you punch them in the face.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, and so it's fun. I mean, it's just a very, very silly game with a pretty simple card-driven system and some really neat maps that add some twists. Like one of them has conveyor belts that move the crystals or the characters if they get like hit onto them or something like that.
okay.
So yeah, there's some neat stuff with this.
I know he made a map which was a little tighter for 2 players,
Yes.
which was cool.
There's a two-sided two-player map
yeah,
that's
I like that
really
one.
good for two-player maps, and they did a really good job. They being Osprey in. I think they're probably done with it now, but there's a lot of expansions that came out for this. There's a cooperative expansion that came out for it. So yeah, it's really good.
All righty. Well, my number 41 to wrap up the list was 32 last year, so around the same place. It's one I came too late. You know how some games just fall through the cracks, but
Yep.
I finally played. Obviously, you know, I just came to it late, not when it came out, but I've been playing for a while. And it's one of those games that always gets, unfortunately, compared to like 2 other games that came out around the same time, right? You got Dune Imperium, you got Endless Winter,
And
and
then
then
this one?
Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is my pick here.
No one's throwing Endless Winter in that group anymore.
You're
Not
incorrect.
really,
no,
not
not
as
anymore.
They're not
much.
being compared.
It's definitely the third. It's more Dune Imperium and this.
Yeah.
Always get compared.
Yeah.
Both deck building, both you play the card as a deck building card or you spend it for worker placement. That's kind of it. That's really the only comparable point. But they still get compared.
They do.
I like this because I love the look of it, for one thing, and I love looking at pretty games and playing pretty games. I like what it does very, very much, but the expansions have each been just excellent. The first expansion added characters, and that right there gave you so much personality. You get to be a specific character with a specific ability nobody else has right off the bat. And then the second expansion gave you more characters and a campaign that you could play through. It's mind-blowing stuff. I know there's more stuff coming out for it, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not.
It's a whole lot of game. It can be an overwhelming game sometimes when you're playing because the choices are plentiful, but I really enjoy engaging with this one. It's one that every card flip, every new thing, you're like, ooh, that came out. Or it has that feeling of every time you replenish the cards available, you go, I want that. That's the one card I want it. I want every card. That's a good feeling to have in a game like this. So for me, 41 Lost Ruins of Arnak.
I do think that this needs an expansion, to play with, because I don't know. I'm not gonna, I don't like that. I do think that the track strategy is clearly the one to go for.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So when you add,
I've heard that. I haven't really, I guess, thought of it much.
I've seen it in the games I've played, but maybe I've been playing it badly or with people that.
Do you
focus
think
more
if
on
everybody
that,
knows that, then it becomes being a problem?
That's the self-balancing thing. Yeah, I think if everyone knows that,
expansions fix that.
They
so.
do. They do. Yeah, yeah. And again,
Okay.
I don't know that it needs to be fixed, but I do think that is, if you let someone do it, then yeah, we all know it, but you're gonna win if you max out that track.
Sure.
So.
Gotcha.
All right, my 41 last today is also brand new to the list. This one's debuting pretty high. I don't know where it will settle in a couple years, but right now it's one I really want to play, and that is Civolution.
Whoa!
Welcome to the
this
top 100,
high.
Stefan
Man.
Bell. You've been
Whoa.
very rarely there in past years for me.
Man.
And you got me with your newest one. Yes, it's a point salady game. Yes, there's a lot going on, but man, oh man, do the choices feel delicious. It's like a sandbox game, so much to do. And yet, I don't sit and think for very long periods of time about my turns.
Yeah, you don't tend to get locked up so much.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I have a 3 and a 4. Here's the action I can do. Or I have a 3, 4, and 5. There's 3 actions I can do. Well, this is clearly the one I want to do. And
Okay.
then when I pick that action, like exploring the board, I go here. And the actions are thematic to some degree. It's a
That's thematics you're going to get with
that's
a Feld
thematic you're going to
game.
get with a Feld game.
Yeah.
But man, I like manipulating dice. And yes, there's luck in the dice, but you roll them so many times over the course of the game, and there's so many ways to manipulate them. It's just a lot of fun.
I think this is my favorite Feld game now, and it may show up on my top 100.
What?
It's just, this is a huge debut.
That's insane. I don't know what it is about this game, but I am terrified of playing it. Everything I've heard is it's the longest Feld game. It's the heaviest Feld game. I'm not.
Well, that's true.
I don't think I'm interested. I don't know what it is.
I'm not
Maybe
trying to talk you into it, actually. I think this is for a select group of. No. I was coming off Stoddy. No, but
I guess this is, I think, going to be group dependent.
I wasn't even sure that Mike would like it, but he did.
I've heard of like 4-hour games of this, and I'm like, no. I mean, probably, I think.
Well, 4 players, possibly.
Yeah, I think.
Well, my
it's probably,
point being, I like Feld,
right,
but I don't know what it is about
I
this
think
game that
play it
I'm
at
not.
2. I think play it at 2, and you still may not like it, but you're much more likely to like it at 2 than you would be at 3
2
or
is my
4.
favorite way to play it.
Yeah.
I played 2 and 3 a lot. I like 2 better just because it's so much faster
do too.
between turns. But
Yeah.
turns are pretty quick anyway.
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty banging game.
All right, but
Hopefully,
there
I'm
are,
not too stupid to play.
Wow.
Well,
There are still 40 more games, the top 40, if you will.
can you
And
count to 40?
Mostly.
Okay, you're good.
will we forget more games? Will we have the wrong games? Will the wrong pictures be used for games? Find out tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll be starting that. We also have live crowd surfing tomorrow.
We do.
So there's much goodness coming your way. And, of course, if you like all that goodness, check out supportdicetower.com. Check out our Game Found, which is running now, but it's only running for a few more days.
Today and then 2 more, yeah?
3 more.
Oh, 3
Today
past
is
today?
Tuesday. I know it feels like it's halfway
Okay.
through the week.
Okay, you're right.
But you know what? If you're watching, assume there's only 2 more days.
Yes.
All righty. Well, there you go, folks. We will see you tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
I'm Mike DiLisio.
Have fun gaming.
Bye.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, if you would love to game with us at one of our conventions, check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.